I made a resolution that I'm going to try and sew more of my own clothes this year, and to kick off 2025, I wanted to sew something fun and a little bit impractical. I have this gorgeous baby blue iridescent fabric that's kind of hard to see on camera, but I'll show you at the end what it looks like in the sun. And my plan, as you saw earlier in my sketch, is to make a little romper. For the bottom half of the romper, I'll be following a vintage sewing pattern that I used in one of my previous TikToks. And since this fabric is quite finicky and frays very easily, I'm going to be doing a French seam whenever possible. This is basically where you sew the fabric together with the wrong sides facing each other, cut the seams, and then fold it over and sew it with the right sides facing each other so that you can enclose the seam. After that's finished, I'm just going to quickly cut and sew 4 straps, which I'll set aside for later. And then I moved on to the hardest part of this project, which was the bust area. Since I didn't have a pattern to follow for this part, I had to play around with draping the fabric on a mannequin first and then use that to come up with my own pattern. Once I finished cutting those pieces out, I hemmed the edges and then did an unfinished straight stitch along the bust area so that I could pull the threads and give it that ruching effect. Now I'm just assembling everything, attaching the bust to the front piece and then attaching the front to the back. And remember to sew in the 4 straps from earlier so that they can be used to adjust the waist and bust of the dress. Finally, I followed the vintage sewing pattern for the shorts and then just attached that to the top. This fabric was such a pain to work with, but I think the final result was worth it. I love how the fabric looks in the sun, and I can't wait to romp around in this when the weather gets warmer.